Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the Opposition Preview. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And on Sunday, Cole Palmer FC head up to Sheffield to take on Sheffield United in another important clash in the race for European qualification for the Blues. Sheffield United having a disappointing season, rooted to the bottom of the table, all but gone pretty much. But, they still want to put in a good performance in front of the home fans. We've got a point against Fulham, obviously lost to Anfield, there's no shame in that. And yeah, you just don't know what you're going to get with Chelsea. So we could turn up having had the highs of Man United and put in a real scruffy performance and maybe drop points like we did against Burnley. But delighted to be joined by Nick from the Sheffield United Way to discuss all things Sheffield United and the game. Mate, great to catch up again. When we caught up last time, I think it was Paul Heckingbottom was on the verge of or had just been replaced as manager by Chris Wilder. I think Sheffield United fans were kind of reasonably pleased that Heckingbottom was going, thought that Wilder might perhaps bring some much needed stability, knows the club. Now we're a few months further down the line. I know hindsight's a great thing, but do you think that it's worked out? I mean, have there been any improvements under Wilder from what we were seeing under Heckingbottom?
I think it depends who you ask. In my opinion, I think that there's been an increase in performance from the players, a very slight increase, but an increase nonetheless. I think we expected more from Chris Wilder and from a Chris Wilder team. We actually have just been talking about Liverpool that we played last night. Wilder's first game was against Liverpool at home, and we were thinking, wow, like this is a completely different Sheffield United. And actually, when Paul Heckingbottom took over from Chris Wilder the last time we're in the Premier League, the same thing happened. It was like almost night and day from the manager that was obviously getting beat week in, week out to a little bit of a resurgence. And against Liverpool for that first game that Wilder came in for, it looked like, you know what, we're going to make a fist of this. And we've had ups and downs since Chris Wilder's been the manager. Under Hecky towards the end, we were getting beaten 5 or 6-0, but we weren't getting anywhere near the opposition's goal. At least with Chris Wilder, we have done, but we did go through a run. I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4 games in a row where we conceded 5 goals at home, which I think that was a Premier League record, and I don't think it's ever happened in Sheffield United history. And Chris Wilder's obviously got to bear that cross, and it's one of those things. But last night against Liverpool, we played really, really well. Nearly came away with a point, but as happens in this league, if you give world-class players a little bit of time and a little bit of space, they're going to find the top corners, and this has happened a lot to us this season. And that's the Premier League for you.
I mean, what's the sort of the feeling amongst the Sheffield United fans? I mean, obviously you're not down yet, but you are going to go back down to the Championship. I guess it was always going to be a tough ask to stay in the Premier League. I mean, the Sheffield United fans disappointed that you've not been able to make more of a fist of it, given how Luton are still kind of in the mix. Burnley, I know you're not that many points behind Burnley, but are you disappointed that you've been the worst of the 3 promoted sides?
Yeah, and the thing was, until the last couple of games, we were still on the same points as Burnley, and that's the thing. Nobody was talking about Burnley being one of the worst sides ever, but we got tarred with that brush. I still don't think Burnley are that much better than us. Obviously, they're showing recently that they are just better than us, and they're at least trying to stay up. Whereas we just keep giving goals away in the last sort of 20 minutes in the last 2 games. Well, sorry, before the Liverpool game, we were 2 goals to the good against Fulham and Bournemouth away, and we gave up that winning scoreline. And that could have been another 4 points on the board for us last night against Liverpool. Could have sneaked a point. Better teams would have defended that out and saw it out, because Liverpool weren't very good last night. I'm not saying that they were terrible, and we played decent and we defended really well, but other teams Liverpool wouldn't have beaten last night. So that could have been another 5 points on the board. And that's the story of the season, to be honest, because we've given away a lot of late goals. We've played really well in some games, and we could have taken away 3 points, 1 point, and just kind of kept the ball rolling and kept that mentality up. But just giving away sloppy goals towards the end of the game is really what's killed us, because we've not been a terrible team this season. I think a lot of opposition fans will look at it and think, look how many points they've got. Like they're one of the worst there's ever been. We're not. It's just that we're giving away sloppy goals towards the end of the game, and it's really tough to take, obviously, as a fan of that club, watching your team and sinking into your seat every time it happens right towards the end of the game. And even when you're 2 goals to the good, you're thinking, we're going to throw this away somehow. And
Mate,
against Fulham,
I know the feeling with that. Well, that's something that we do on a regular basis as well. I just think we've got a little bit more quality up the other end where we can sometimes bail ourselves out of it. But yeah, it is so devastating as a fan when like you can't even enjoy being a few goals ahead because you know that your team is just gonna self-destruct and throw it away. I mean, I feel it's too simplistic to say it's just down to a lack of quality. I don't think Sheffield United have necessarily got bad players. Of course, you know, it's going to be tough to make the right signings required and the quality required to make a fist of staying in the league. But do you put it down to just a lack of quality, or do you put it down to sort of a lack of coaching, a lack of ideas? I mean, do you think it's a combination of all of them?
Yeah, combination of all of them. Obviously, if we're coming up into the Premier League, we've had Championship players. I don't think, other than Iliman and Dyer, we sold practically on the eve of the season, we had any players that were absolutely nailed on Premier League players. Um, I think that there is a lack of quality, but at the end of the day, we do have quality, like you've just said. We have come up with brilliant moments this season. We've played really well as a team in patches. But I think the thing is that when we got promoted in 18-19 coming into the 19-20 season, we didn't. I wouldn't say we've got a better team than we've got right now, and we finished 9th in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Now that season, a lot of teams had poor seasons, but it was just the cohesion of the team. We were winning games 1-0 week in, week out, practically. We were winning games by 1 goal. And Dean Henderson pulling off an incredible save every now and then. The defense, like I say, seeing it out and nicking a goal here and there. So I think it just, and then the season after that, we went 16 games without a win, winning our 17th against Newcastle. But we were losing 1-0, 2-1 week in, week out. So it's just that little bit of either class, little bit of just having that bit of steel and you know, having that bit of confidence to know that you can see the game out. And between those 2 seasons, that was just the contrast. And then obviously this season, there's been times where, like for instance, at the start of the season when we played Spurs, we were 1-0 up, and they were like 2 of the latest goals ever conceded, and that's because of VAR adding obviously loads of time on and stuff. So it's just, this season has not helped the fact that so many minutes, so many games are going into 100-minute, and that's not ever going to be helpful for a team that's just come up from the Championship, not really bursting with quality, and our bench isn't necessarily anywhere near as good as some of the teams that we're playing. So it's tough, and obviously the further you go into these games, the more tired our players are going to be. Our quality that we're having to play week in, week out, playing 90 minutes, they're eventually going to get tired, and minds are going to go wandering. So, yeah, I think it's a bit of everything, a bit of coaching, a bit of mentality in the players, lack of quality. It all adds up to a team that's going down, unfortunately.
I mean, let's touch on a few of the players. I know last time we touched on Hamer, who arrived having had a very good season of Coventry. What have you made of his kind of season today? I think he scored at Anfield the other night. But he hasn't got too many goals. I mean, what have you made of his performances? Are Sheffield United fans are a bit disappointed with him, and do you expect to be able to keep hold of him when you go back down to the Championship?
Yeah, I think we'll keep hold of him. I don't think he's particularly done too many things this season to alert other clubs that he deserves to be playing Premier League football. I still do think he's one of, if not our best player. I just don't think he's had the best of seasons to his standards. He's a very, very good footballer. He really is. But I think the seasons took its toll on him as well, because he's practically, his first touch for Sheffield United was curling the ball into the top corner against Forest. I think it was the second game of the season or third game of the season away from home. And we were thinking, what a player we've got, and he has had really, really bright moments this season. But I think the toll of the fact that he's playing with players that aren't as good as the players that we're going up against is tough for him, and I think he's just kind of um, gone backwards a little bit. But I still think he's a great player. I still think that when we're playing well, Gus Hamer's playing well, and he really does show his quality. I think we'll keep hold of him, like I say. I think there's another couple of players that Cameron Archer will go back to Villa because in the weird contract we struck up with Villa. If we went down, they would automatically sign him back, which I don't think I've ever seen in my life
So
before.
you spent 20 million on him to then give him back?
For practically the same, yeah. So it's a glorified loan deal, but actually it's worked well because
Yeah.
Cameron Archer's not had a great season and he's been injured a little bit. Couple of bright sparks, but other than that, we wouldn't be able to sell him for 20 million right now if this deal wasn't already in place. So that's actually looked after us quite well. If we'd have stayed up, Aston Villa would have been able to buy him back, but for a little bit more. But yeah, he goes back. Vinny Souza, I think, will leave. He's our defensive midfielder, defensive midfield destroyer, Brazilian player. He's not had a great season. He's had a few good games, but not enough for someone to come in and buy him. So he may stay, but at the same time, I think he wants to leave. I don't think he wants to play championship football. And I think Anel Ahmedhodzic, who's been our right centre back for all of last season, played central centre back this season. He's been quite poor in large patches as well. But I think he will go. I think he's got. I can't remember how much it's in his contract for someone to come in and purchase him for, but I think he will go as well. I think those three players will go, and I think we'll keep Gus Hamer next season. So we can rebuild with that money.
I'll tell you a player who I have been a fan of, and I think he come in January, got a couple of goals against Fulham. Brereton Diaz has seemed to have added a little bit of much needed quality up front. Couple of goals against Fulham last weekend. I mean, probably I'd say unlikely to keep him given he's on loan from Villarreal. I'm not sure he'd probably go and play in the Championship. But I mean, are the Sheffield United fans taken to him? He must have been a bit of a breath of fresh air for you guys.
Oh yeah. We love Ben Brereton Diaz now. It's crazy to think because we were playing against him for a couple of seasons, the season before at Blackburn, and Blackburn fans were telling us that when he's on form, he is unstoppable. But then he'll go kind of like a big not purple patch. I don't know what the opposite of a purple patch is, but it
Yeah.
will go a length of time without scoring goals and being sort of really, really just not very helpful to anyone. But he's come in and he's like you say, he's been a breath of fresh air. He's hit the ground running, scoring goals for fun. He's very direct, and that's what we've missed. Someone picking the ball up, running at players. He puts 100% in. He gets stuck in. He will hassle and harry defenders and just put them under huge amounts of pressure. And like I said, that's what we've missed. And him coming in and scoring goals and not because it's weird because he'd not scored a goal for Villarreal after going there from Blackburn after his contract ran out, and he's not done anything for Villarreal. So seeing him come into the Premier League for us and hitting the ground running, it's great to see. But I think he's kind of putting himself in the shop window for maybe a Championship side who's going up to the Premier League to buy him next season, or maybe even I don't know a Bournemouth or someone like that towards the bottom of the division. Maybe a Fulham. I don't know. So I think he's put himself in the shop window. He might go back to Villarreal and get into their team. But yeah, he's been fantastic. I'd love to see him at Bramall Lane next season in the Championship. But like you say, yeah, I think he's too good for that.
I mean, he's probably definitely one we're going to have to watch on Sunday. I mean, looking ahead to the game, mate, what can Chelsea fans expect from the Sheffield United approach? I mean, obviously, there's not much to play for now. I mean, you're 10 points from safety with less than 10 games to go. Are you guys just going to go for it? I mean, what can we expect as Chelsea fans from Sheffield United?
Well, what I will say is that we've certainly been better in the last three games than the previous sort of 5 or 6. Like I said earlier on, we've thrown away points, but at least we've got ourselves into a position that looks like we're going to be taking points away. So we will certainly be better than getting hammered 8-0 and 6-0 and 5-0. I don't think that will happen on Sunday. Against Fulham at home, Ollie McBurney and Brereton Diaz linked up really, really well. McAtee was only on the bench for us and came on towards the end of the game. I think that'll be the case again. I think the two big blokes will play up front and try and cause problems for the Chelsea defence. Obviously, we've got to keep an eye on Cole Palmer. I think that Conor Gallagher's been brilliant this season as well. It's good to see the English lads at Chelsea doing the business, because there's not too many English lads, it seems, at Chelsea, or has been at Chelsea over the past sort of 5 or 10 years. So no, it's nice to see that. But I think that we'll press early. We'll try and get a goal up, and we'll probably try and see it out. But at the same time, I think at home we've got a lot more confidence than we had. And scoring 3 goals against Fulham the last time we played at Bramall Lane will give us the confidence to try and have a bit of a go at Chelsea. Obviously, you guys have just come off of that really, really good last gasp minute winner against Man United. So, yeah, we've got to keep an eye on certain players. But I'm slightly more confident than I was, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely be got at. I mean, obviously, both sides not good defensively. I think that's an understatement. We've let in over 50 goals now. We've got individual mistakes in us. We don't seem to have any defensive structure. Every time a ball goes into the box, whether it's from open play or from a set piece, there's just panic. It looks like we're going to concede. So I think you guys can definitely have some success from set pieces or putting balls into the box. McBurney, Diaz,
Throw-ins as well.
Yeah, throw-ins.
We've got Jack Robinson launching the ball into the box.
Yeah,
it's not really helped us too much in the last few seasons, but against Liverpool, after a minute, him launching the ball into the box and El flicking it on, and James McAtee had oceans of the goal to finish it. But that just shows that is still a lethal weapon, that ball into the box from Jack Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to have to be on top of our game. It's going to be a completely different kind of game than it was against United. It's not going to be a basketball type of game. I wouldn't have thought. We've had a lot of that recently. I think you'll be a bit more compact. We'll have to be a bit more methodical in what we're doing. I actually don't think there'll be too many goals in this game. But I mean, somehow we can still qualify for the Europa League despite our best efforts to throw it all away. We at this stage of the season, we have still got a little bit to play for. Before I come to the score predictions, mate, I mean, what do Sheffield United fans want from these last sort of 7 or 8 games in the Premier League? Like, is there an expectation? You just want to enjoy them and rebuild and come back next season? I mean, what's sort of the feeling amongst the fans for these final few games?
Yeah, well, the feeling from a Sheffield United point of view, obviously you guys won't feel this, but every time we're in the Premier League, to me, it feels like we need to enjoy it, because this might be the last time we're in the Premier League for 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
There's so many clubs that haven't had the luxury that we've had of being in the Premier League recently. I was only thinking about Blackburn the other day and the fact that they've not been in the Premier League for such a long time. And it just happens like that. You see Charlton go down and they've been in League One for
Norwich used to be up and down all the time. They haven't been in for a number of years now either.
Yeah, so you just never know. You never know. So let's enjoy it. I think the key thing is to go into next season not being down in the dumps. If we end the season with 3-5-0 defeats, then it's going to be awful going into next season. So I think just get a little bit of credit in the bank and show that we're not pushovers like we have been at the Arsenal game at home, the Villa game at home, where we were just getting like being 3 or 4 goals down at half time. It's just that's never been the Sheffield United way. It's never been that, and that's what's hurt me a bit this season, because under Chris Wilder, before this season, we've never lost by, I think it was 3 goals or more. And with Chris Wilder coming in, I'm thinking that's never going to happen under Chris Wilder. He'll keep us compact. He'll make sure that we don't concede too many goals. And then you concede 3-5 goals at home in a row. And that's what's hurt the most this season. It's been difficult watching fans leaving at 60 minutes, 70 minutes, sometimes even earlier. And that's not me. I can't leave earlier than the 90th minute. And occasionally, I might leave at the 90th minute when there's 10 minutes added on and you're 4-0 down. But it's just, yeah, it's sad to see Bramall Lane being half full at half time or just after half time because fans are just had enough. And I don't blame them, to be honest. I really don't.
Yeah, no, mate, I hear it. I hear it. Score predictions then Sunday. For me, I think we'll win. I feel a bit more confident now. We've bounced back from that Burnley game, which was really disappointing, with a big win against United. Well, a big win against United in terms of how it happened and in terms of the 3 points for our season. I think this game will be a bit closer than people expect. We're not the sort of team that turns up and rolls teams over 4 or 5-0. We might score 3 or 4, but we'll at least let in a couple as well. So I think this will be closer. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win, but I definitely expect you guys to score. I mean, how do you see it?
I think it'll be closer than that, but I'm on the verge of 1-0 or 2-1 Chelsea, to be honest. I think that this is the thing, even when we've played well this season, we've not taken away 3 points. So I can't see us winning this game. Well, saying that, I can. I also can, because one of these games we're gonna win, because we've been so good going forward at times, and if we can just get that defensive solidity right, then we could pick up a win. I don't think we will. I think, like I said, I think Chelsea will win by 1 goal, whether that's 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, whatever. But yeah, I'd like to see us get a point. I'd like to see us score a goal as well, at least. Just give us something to cheer about. That's the main thing these days.
Yeah, no, I hear it, mate. Thanks so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. If people want to check out more of what you guys do, where should they go?
Sheffield United Way, on everything. We're on everything, and it's at Sheffield United Way. I'll do a match reaction after the Chelsea game. Match preview has already got it up on the channel, so yeah, go and check it out if you want to.
Yeah, guys, make sure you head over there, show the guys some love at Sheffield United Way, doing loads of great stuff. So please do check them out. Yeah, guys, for myself, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you again in another video soon.